I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one. Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down. They're up. Inflation is getting worse. Prices of grocery, gas.
You know, I don't know of a time period that has ever existed like today for the common man like you and me, despite the media and all the crazy leftists melting down on a daily basis about how Trump is absolutely destroying the world. The wins keep on piling up, y'all. I don't know what to do with all this wins. And ever since President Trump came to office, one of the main talking points of the Democrats have been how the price of eggs have been going up and how tariffs are going to kill our economy. Well, today the figures are in, and I hate to tell you, Democrats, the prices of eggs have finally started to come down, along with gasoline prices, the lowest it's ever been since 5 years. But not only that, Trump obliterated Bidenflation in just 6 weeks, with Trueflation reporting inflation the lowest it's been in 4 years. You know what that means, folks? With inflation dropping down, the Fed can start dropping down interest rates along with it. So that means stocks, real estate, and crypto are gonna go bananas. Thanks for tuning in to the 9/10 podcast, where possession is 9/10 of the law. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. It really helps what I do here.
He gave you high prices. You couldn't buy bacon, you couldn't buy anything. And also, I inherited a situation with eggs. The price of eggs was through the roof. Well, now the price of eggs has come down a lot. Interest rates have come down. Gasoline prices have come down. It's all coming down. It's all a beautiful thing. I can do it the right way, the wrong way. We're doing it the right way. And I have tremendous confidence in this country and the people of this country.
We're making this great again and that great again, when frankly, the only thing they've made great again is Putin. They've made egg prices great again, if you like high egg prices.
And finally, we have some good news on the economy and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the chart all the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
Qantas Insight says we may be getting closer to price stability. Inflation is loosening its grip. Gas prices peaked near $4 a gallon in 2022, now projected at $3.09. Eggs prices dropped 11% recently after spiking last year. Trueflation index 1.35% inflation, down sharply from 2024 highs.
The CPI index report came out this morning, and inflation is down. In fact, core inflation is down to the lowest level it has been in 4 years. This is just in 52 days of President Trump taking office. We saw airline fares fell. We saw the cost of gasoline is down as well. We also saw a $1 billion investment this morning from GE Aerospace. We saw Asahi, the Japanese beer company, announce that they're going to move manufacturing and investments to the great state of Wisconsin in response to President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, which you all know went into effect last night. So this is all good news for the American people, and it also shows that you can effectively utilize tariffs to bolster your industries here at home while driving down the cost of living for the American public through deregulation and through energy. And we know President Trump is intent on passing his big tax cuts later this year. We're calling on Congress to do it.
Real estate websites, the BLS literally calls people on the phone. They ring them up and they say, how much do you think that you could rent your home for right now? And guess what people do? They lie, they exaggerate, they got no clue. This is insane. But thankfully, a team of smart people is working on an alternative. They call it Trueflation. Get it? True inflation. They use real-time data to calculate what's happening to consumer prices. Now, given that they have access to better data and they have a better methodology, It's all focused on real time. Truflation, in my opinion, serves as a great pulse on what's happening right now. And right now, Truflation is showing a 1.39% reading in their inflation metric. That is nearly half the level of the government's inflation metric of 3%. Now, this new reading is actually really interesting because back in December, Truflation showed a high of 3.1%, but now it's had a 50% drop since that December reading. And so while the government data is lagging, Truflation is already showing the effects of reduced government spending, of new tariff initiatives, and the economic slowdown that's being driven by uncertainty in the economy. It feels like a no-brainer for Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve to continue cutting interest rates if inflation's 1.39% instead of 3%. If you look at the 3% number, you'd say there's no way the Fed could cut rates. But if you look at the 1.39% number, you'd say they should cut tomorrow. This is a perfect example of how data, both good and bad quality, can completely change the course of history. And inflation, that pesky thing, it has been changing history. We've seen the US dollar lose more than 26% of its purchasing power since 2020. 26%. That means that for every dollar you had before,
Yo, that's nuts. 26% since 2020. That's just 5 years. You lost over a quarter in your dollar. So you just left at 75 cents since 2020. That's insane.
you can now buy less than 75 cents worth of goods. That is the definition of financial destruction for millions of Americans.
I'm very happy with is oil is down to $65 a barrel. And that's faster than I would have anticipated. We put on the gas, we stepped in the gas in order to get oil. And what's happening. So we're getting that down. And when energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it.
So what do you guys think? Is this a sign that we're finally going to see the cost of living go down and our purchasing powers go up? Or is this just too good to be true propaganda and Trump is really going to drive us off a cliff? Please let me know in the comments. Thanks for tuning in to the 9/10 podcast, where possession is 9/10 of the law. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Peace.